Well, we're going to start working on checkpoint units 1 to 3, okay, from viewpoint 2. And here there are some words that we need to complete, okay, the charge. I hope you have already done that, okay, because it's kind of important for you. Well, the first one, it asks you to circle the auxiliary verb and then complete just a moment. Okay, well, let's go on. Well, complete the sentences with an appropriate adverb from the box. Okay, we have evidently, ideally, inevitably, invariably, ironically, potentially, presumably, and supposedly. Okay, well, we have got the first one, which says, my friend says she feels a lot of pressure from her parents, as I. Okay, remember that we have already studied this, okay? And we can use auxiliary verbs in order to avoid repeating words, okay? But for that, we have to pay attention. We have to pay attention to the first sentence, okay? You can see in your book that we have a sentence like this. He is obviously enjoying it, as I am. We are using am here because the first sentence is with the verb to be, okay? The last sentence, the next sentence says, I think it's a great idea, but my family doesn't. So I think is simple present, okay? I think it's a great idea, but my family doesn't think it's a great idea. So to use the auxiliary verb in order to avoid repetition of unnecessary words, okay, you have to analyze the first sentence. Here, she took a risk, which is what I did. Like, I took a risk, okay? The sentence, the original, the first one here, that is connected to the sentence that I want, is in the simple past. So I have to use the auxiliary did, and so on, okay? Well, coming back, we have here, my friend says she feels a lot of pressure from her parents, and then we have as I am and as I do. Since the sentence says, my friend says she feels, and I feel pressure too. So the correct is do. Okay, so remember, you have to pay attention to the first sentence, the original one, the one that connects, it is being connected to, okay? And in this case, we have no verb to be here, so there is no reason to check am, okay? So the correct is do. You know, to take all these extra classes, play an instrument, do a sport, I mean, do you? So, oh, yeah. And now you have to add the adverb, okay? But here we have some adverbs that it is possible to add, because you can see that in the exercise we have sometimes there is more than one answer, okay? So here it is possible to add ironically, presumably, okay? So you can add them, no problem. So let's work with ironically. Our parents never did this stuff. And then we have here, we also have, we can add more than one adverb. You can write here presumably. Okay, presumably they just want us to have more opportunities than they. So than they did or than they are. Well, right here we can see that they just want us to have more opportunities than they. Here it's talking about their parents. Okay, so it's talking about something that they did in the past. Actually, they didn't, because they want the kids to have more opportunities. Okay, so the idea here shows an idea from the past. So the correct is did. Then, well, I know my mom is or my mom does. What's your answer? Does. Very good. Look, so presumably they just want us to have more opportunity than they did. Well, I know my mom does. Um, so now from this exercise on, I would like to focus on the auxiliary verbs, okay? Because grammar is more important right now. Well, continuing here, there is all this bullying in schools, but I have never experienced it, and I know my friends, and then we have haven't, have, either or either. Have you? You can see that in the first sentence we have I've never experienced it. So and right here we have either. So remember that we use either for negative sentences. So the correct is haven't. Very good. Okay. Continuing. Well, supposedly, a lot of it happens online. So inevitably, um, you don't see a lot of it. And our school has a strict policy on bullying, which a lot of schools, and then we have do and does. Okay? Since we are talking about a lot of schools, it is in the plural. So I cannot use does. We have to use do. Okay? Continuing. The third. I don't really feel any strong peer pressure through my best, sorry, though my best friend does or my best friend is. I don't feel my best friend does. I can't use is, okay? Because there is no verb to be here. So simple present, does. Do you? And then says, well, there is inevitably, invariably, okay? Some. My friends are my friends are all pretty confident, but I do, or but I am too. You can see my friends are, so verb to be. So you can say I do, so verb to be, okay? That's good. I mean, ideally or presumably, you want supportive friends. Well, I have or I do. What do you think? Well, I do. Okay? Because to use I have, sentences here needed to be at least in the present perfect. Okay? So you want supportive friends. Well, I do. So I want supportive friends. And some people are always worrying about what others think. other thing. As my friend is or as my friend are. Obviously, for obvious reasons, my friend, third person, we cannot, third person singular, we cannot use are, only is. Okay? So that's not a big deal, okay? So you just have to concentrate and check the correct auxiliary. And to finish up, we have one more. We could have and potentially, okay? It's one that fits here. I can't see any other that fits here rather than potentially, okay? Well, now we have to complete the comments using to, not to, one, or ones, okay? Coming back here, right here, we have infinitive verb phrases, one and ones, okay? Remember that we can stop in to in order to avoid repeating, okay, a sentence, the verb again, as we have here in these two examples. I would love to write like her, but I'll never be able to write like her. I mean, I'd like to write like her, but so it's not necessary to repeat to write like her, to write. So if I stop here, there is a complete meaning, so you understand everything, okay? Well, so you say, I would love to write like her, but I'll never be able to. I mean, I'd like to, but what can I do? We had to read Shakespeare plays in college. Well, we were supposed to read Shakespeare's play in college. Okay, it's not necessary to use to repeat everything. So if I stop at two, it's okay. We have an understanding. Well, in the negative, okay, he says here, notice the negatives with try and prefer. I should read trashy novels, and I try not to read trashy novels. But I used to read a lot, but these days I prefer not to. I prefer not to. We understand that it's talking about reading, okay? So I prefer not to read a lot, okay? Well, continuing here with one or ones, okay? It depends if it's singular or plural, okay? You can use one or ones to avoid repeating countable nouns. Don't use them after my, your, his, etc. And some, any, or both, unless there is an adjective. We are going to see that, okay? I've read all her books. Her best one is one of her books I read. Of the books I read, the ones I like best are nonfiction. So the ones like the books, okay? Well, let's see. There is software on my computer that I don't know how to use, and I will probably never be able to. I'll never be able to. So here there is to use. Okay, you don't know how to use, and you'll probably never be able to, or to know how to use. Okay, I'd like to, but it's, but it's, there is something here. Oh, I forgot here, complete with idioms. Okay, these idioms we found, let me just find them for you. Here, but it's beyond me. It's something that, I'm sorry, it's something that you can't because you don't know how it works, okay? You will be able to see that. Let me see if it's here. I don't remember. I'm sorry. No, I'm sorry. I don't remember where these idioms are. Probably in lesson C. Mm-mm. Yes, guys. Um, I can't remember what it is. So, anyways, but it's beyond me. Okay, I'll help you out with that, and then you see you can check it out later in the book. Okay, continuing. He says, you know, my phone has all these useless functions, like the most useless, the most useless. So I'm going to substitute for function, okay? Like the most useless function for, so you can say the most useless one for most people, because we're talking about functions, okay? People is the stock market report. I don't see, I don't see the point of it, okay? I don't see the point of it. So if you can't see the point of something, like you find no reasons, okay, uh, you don't know, okay, you can't find an explanation. Well, the third, I can't use the remote to record anything. Well, I could, but I prefer, remember, prefer here, negative sentences with prefer. I prefer not to. So it's the same thing. So I could, but gives a negative sentence, gives a negative meaning now. But I prefer not to. I can't make heads. I don't know if you remember this expression, but it's I can't make heads or tails of it. Okay, I can't make heads or tails of it. And I always mess up the satellite channels when I try uh, um, when I try to do something. Okay, so I always mess up the satellite channels when I try to. Okay, the fourth, we want to get one of those things that cleans our floors. Well, we were going to. Okay, we were going to. Oh, what are they called? It's on the tip of my tongue. That's it. It's on the tip of my tongue. Those robot things. Fifth, we never had calculators in my day. Not like the one or ones. That's it. Not like the ones they have now. Because we are talking about calculators, okay? So we never had calculators in my day, not like the calculators they have now, not like the ones they have now. You had to learn all your math tables by, remember when you learn something completely, you master it, you learn it by heart, okay? And then he continues. You just had to come. Remember, if you don't, you say you just have to come to grips with it all. come to grips. Okay. Sixth, a gadget I can't live without. A gadget I can't live without. I don't know off the top of my head. I don't know off the top of my head. Nothing comes to mind. I'd like to get a scooter, but I will never be able to. The scooter, never be able to. The scooter I want is so expensive. So the one I want is so expensive. Okay? Well, we're almost there. Here, you have to complete the take expressions in both interviews. I don't know if you didn't come to class, but uh, I asked you to organize the verbs with take, okay, and with its meaning, with their meanings, okay. Then in one, write the participle clauses using the verbs given, and in two, write both and, either, or, neither, nor, or not only but also, okay. Participles, and here no, both and so on, okay. But let's come back here just for a moment. Participle clauses, okay. You can use participle clauses to link events and add information about time or reason. The subject of the participle clause and the main clause is usually the same. Growing up, I was always branded a rebel. Like when I was growing up, I was always branded a rebel. I never meet anyone working as hard as I do because I work hard. Having built up a successful career, I am happy with my life choices. I, because I have built a successful career, I am happy with my life choices. I've never conformed to social norms, not having had any children. No, I've never conformed to social norms, not because I have never had any children. Okay, so these are participle clauses, and then we also have to use either or, both and, neither nor, not only but also. So remember, when I use either or, I'm choosing one from two. Okay. You can also add more than two options. Both and, you are going choosing two options. Neither nor, you don't want you want none. Okay. Not only but also, again, two. You are going to select two. Okay. Let's come back to our activity. First of all, let's go here. So the verbs in parentheses, we have to use the participle clauses. Okay. Remember, the participle clauses can be, just a moment. The participle clauses can be present participle or present perfect participle. If it's present participle, we are going to use the verb in the ing form, okay? And continue. Perfect, every time we talk about perfect, we have, okay? And the verb in the past participle. So always having done, having built, having had, having experienced, having something, okay? Well, let's come back. We have here, grow up as I was always a bookworm. I don't know if you know what a bookworm is, but a bookworm is that kind of kid that reads a lot, studies a lot. So here we start with the present participle. Okay, growing up. Growing up, I was always a bookworm. Reading always took precedence over. I think I still have my files here. So if you take precedence over, you take priority over. Okay? Keep this in mind. Take precedence over, you take priority over. So reading always took precedence over everything else. If I take, that's it, stock, okay? If you take stock of something, you assess, reflect, okay? Let me see, yeah. So took precedence over, if I take stock of all my success in life, it's probably due to reading. Okay, so it reflects all his reading, reflects his success in life. Okay. My mom has to take credit. Okay. So like mom is responsible for that. So mom is the one that needs to be praised for that. So mom has to take credit for teaching us to read. Now we have participle clause again. What is here? Not have a career. Here you can add not having a career, or you can use either one or the other. You can use either not having a career or not having had a career, because it's not given which verb tenses would fit. Okay, so both would fit in there. No problem. Not having had a career, she stayed home and took responsibility for our education. So if you take responsibility, okay, you take control, okay? You take control of something. So she used to take, in this case you can say she used to take note or to take charge, okay? If you take note, you notice. If you take charge, you take control. So she controlled it, she noticed it, okay? So she used to take note of how much we read every day. And participle again. And living near a library, we always took advantage of it. So if you take advantage of something, you make use of it. Okay, it's something because they used to live near a library, so they made use of this opportunity to read. So by the age of 10, I had a wide vocabulary. And here, reading or having read, what do you think it is? Both, okay? You can say reading as much as I did or having read as much as I did. Okay, no problem. Both would complete the sentence. I often I often won the local spelling bees. And remember, spelling bee is about to come. I won the local spelling bees when I took part in it. Remember, if you take part in something you are involved in, you participate. Okay? Also, again, you can use having read or reading. All the classics. I was good at I was good at general knowledge quizzes too. These days, working. Now I'm going to use working because I have these days. Okay, so I cannot use having worked. Okay, so working. As much as I do, I still like to take refuge. If you take refuge, you hide. Okay, take refuge in a book, like you stop doing everything, you stop going out. Okay, you just read your book. It's a great way to escape from life. Second, now is the one that you have to use this, both and, either or, neither nor, not only but also. If you speak British English, you're going to say either, neither. Okay, I prefer to use the either, neither. Well, I haven't read a book, a magazine in months. So the person haven't read a book and the person haven't read a magazine. So it's neither one or the other. You would think that I could put neither nor because it has a negative meaning. But if you take a look at this, we already have the negative. So we are not going to use the negative now, okay? If we have the negative, we have to use either or, okay? I haven't read either a book or a magazine. If I wanted a negative meaning, but the verb in the affirmative, I have read, then I would write here neither nor, okay? Well, unless you take into, what are you gonna use here? That's it, take into account. If you take something into account, okay, you think about, you consider, okay? So unless you take into account the books I read to my kids, unless you consider, okay? They want me to not only, they want me not only to read every night, but also to tell them stories. You can also write here, they want me both to read every night and to tell them stories about when I was a kid. Look, here it's possible to use not only, but also, both, and, because it gives the idea that you're gonna do both things, okay, two things. So there is no problem. Every night, what is it? I'm sorry. So I read and tell stories every single night. Sometimes I have the time, the energy after a day's work. So after a day's work, like spend the whole day working, do you have time? Do you have energy? No. So you can see that this sentence has a negative meaning, but the verb is in the affirmative. What do you have to do? That's it. Use neither nor. So sometimes I have neither the time nor the energy after a day's work. But even if you are busy, you can, but even if you are busy, you can take steps. When you take steps, you do something positive. Okay? You do something positive to help your kids read. Like now they have electronic readers for kids, which are great. They are both fun and educational. My kids can both read and listen at the same time. If you don't know how to say a word, it can either ask me or they can either ask me or point to it and hear it. So it's either one or the other, okay? It's a great way to get kids, it's a great way to get kids to take the very good initiative. So it is to do something. If you take initiative, you do something before others do it. Okay? Now, here, if so, if not, such, let's take a look at, yes, I'm going to show you this now. So that, such, an, that, even, and only, okay? Remember, you use so or such that to emphasize the result or effects of something. Use so plus adjective or an adverb, and such, an, adjective, and noun. Okay? It is necessary to have a noun when you are going to use such. Okay? If there is just the adjective, so. If there is the adjective plus noun, and then we have to use such. You're going to see that if I use so, it's going to be wrong and it will sound strange. Look, you'll be so excited that adjective, okay? There is no noun here. It's such an overwhelming experience that experience, noun, overwhelming, adjective, okay? And in your book, let me go there for you. Hold on. Yeah, here. So just to remember, if so, if not. If so, you can use if so, especially in formal speaking. It means if the answer is yes, if it is true. If not means if the answer is no, or if this is not true. Okay? So if so, if the answer is yes or true, or if it is true. If not, if the answer is no, or if it is not true. Okay? Sorry. Coming back here. Next page. Right here. Circle the correct options to complete the information from a website selling solar power panels. Well, worried about hearing costs? If not, or if so? If so, or if not? If so, like worried about hearing, heating. Yeah, not hearing. Worried about heating costs? If you are, like if the answer is yes, why not install solar panels in your home to reduce your energy bills? They are now affordable. That there is no noun here, so it's impossible to use such, because such we need a noun. So I have to use they are now so affordable that that everyone can benefit from them. And what's just important? What is just important? If not, if so, more important. That's it. If not more important. Like, and what is just as important, if not more important, is that it's such or so a clean source of power. You see, we have an article, and remember that articles, they are used for nouns. So even though you don't know what a noun is, if there is an article, there is a noun, okay? And it's countable. So you have to use such. Such a clean source of power that you will be helping to reduce pollution too. With some systems, you can even or you can so get paid. That's it. You can even get paid. Emphasizing, okay? You can even get paid for the energy you produce. The panels, such take or only take. That's it. Only take a day to install, not such take. Come on. Your heating bills will fall so rapidly that, or such rapidly. Very good. So rapidly that you'll be pleased that you've made so or such a great investment. That's it. Remember article A, such a great investment. So the correct is such. Okay? Well, um, well, guys, I guess that's it. Okay. What I could help, where I could help you, just to wrap up here, where I could help you when it comes to verbs. Okay. Remember auxiliary verbs to avoid repeating words by using the auxiliary. Okay. You can use them. So just you have to pay attention to the first sentence. Sometimes, I don't remember if I have told you that, but sometimes the auxiliary here is different. Sorry. Sometimes the auxiliary is different from the original sentence, okay? The previous sentence. As you can see here, she obviously changed careers. A lot of people do these days. You can see here these days. So we have something, a sentence about the past. She obviously changed. Okay, she changed. And these days, a lot of people do. So I use the auxiliary to avoid repeating words. I hope it works out. Like, I hope it works out. It did for me. Like, it worked out for me. Okay. Infinitive phrase, verb phrases, the ones that we stop in to. When I stop in to, there is a clear understanding. Okay. Oh, sorry, the negative. Remember that the negative is not to. Okay, I try not to. I prefer not to. One and ones. Remember that one and ones are used to avoid repeating countable nouns. Okay, I can't use after my, your, his, her, and so on. Some, any, or both, unless there is an adjective. So right here we have an example. it says, oh, we can't use after my, your, his, her, it, our, and so on. But here we have an adjective, her best one. If I didn't have best, I couldn't have said her one. Okay? Like there are a lot of cars. My one, no, my one, it does not exist. Okay? Continuing. Noun phrases. We didn't have an activity on that, but we can, like here, we can add information to nouns with different types of expressions instead of using the relative clauses. An adverb or adverbial phrase starts with an adverb. The guy who lives upstairs. Let me show you in your book an activity on that. Right here. The invasion of privacy is an important matter that we should discuss. Here, I'm going to eliminate everything, okay, that we should discuss. We have to use the active infinitive. So the invasion of privacy is an important matter to discuss, okay? Right here, active infinitive. Remember, active infinitive is when we use to, okay? And the passive infinitive is when we use to be. Every time we're talking about passive, we are talking about the verb to be, okay? I mean, how to protect our privacy is an issue to be taken seriously, okay? Adjective phrase, it means that you have to look for the adjective, okay? And anyone willing. Willing is the adjective. So from here back, you eliminate. Right here, we need a prepositional phrase. Prepositional phrase, you have to look for the preposition, okay? That is not a preposition. You is not a preposition. Have is not a preposition. But is not a preposition. In is a preposition. So from that to put, eliminate. I hate it when online stores monitor the items in your basket. Okay. One more prepositional phrase here. That, no, it's a relative pronoun. Are, verb, for, preposition. So that and are eliminate. So you say, sometimes you get discount coupons for things you really need. Okay. Active infinitive. You just get the verb and write to. The thing to watch. Okay. Prepositional, adverb. Adverb. So take a look at the adverb. That is not an adverb. Is not an adverb. Downstairs is an adverb. Adverb of place. Okay. So I know far too much about the person in the apartment. Downstairs. Eliminate. Okay. So you just have to pay attention if it is an adverb, if it is a preposition. Adverbs are adverbial phrases, prepositional and adjectives, they are easy. Remember, active infinitive is the one that starts with to. Passive infinitive is the one that starts with to be. Present participle, we use the ing. Past participle, we use the past participle of the verb. Okay. Let me see one with past participle. We have present participle here, so it means that we have to use the ing. Okay. For example, that's one of the potential dangers. Where's the verb? Where's the verb? Here, exist. So I have to use it in the ing form because right here in the rule says that the present participle, it is used in the ing form. So I say, that's one of the potential dangers existing in social networking. Let me see one with past participle. Past participle. Okay. So where's the verb? Looking for the verb here, so we can see that it's target. Okay. So we just add the ed here because it's a regular verb. So say it's useful that they send advertisement targeted ed. Okay. Well, guys, study hard. Okay. Let me see if I have forgotten something. No. Yes. Study hard. Okay. And tomorrow, when we see each other here in the classroom, I can solve other problems. Okay. See you and goodbye.